January 2010. Deep in America's heartland, the state of Illinois. Inside the office of a small college president, the phone rings. On the other end is a local estate lawyer. He breaks the news. A 100-year-old woman has just passed away, and she left every single asset she owned to the school. The president sighs. He knew her well. Her name was Grace Groner. She lived in a tiny one-bedroom house, never owned a car, walked everywhere in worn-out shoes, and bought her clothes from rummage sales. Just another penniless old lady. The lawyer pauses. Dead silence. And then he reads the final number. The college president literally drops the phone. His exact words, "Oh my God." Inside the account of this quiet secretary who clipped coupons her entire life sat a staggering $7,200,000. Who was she? A brilliant con artist or a victim of her own obsession? Today, we uncover the truth.
America, 1909, the rural countryside. Little Grace is left completely orphaned. No parents, no money, no safety net. She catches a break. Kind neighbors take the girl in. They scrape together enough for college. But then, life hits her again. She enters the workforce in 1931, right at the brutal peak of the Great Depression. Look at these frames. Unemployment skyrocketing, people jumping from buildings, starvation, despair. For a single woman in the 1930s, survival was a daily battle. Women earned 60% less than men. Most corporate secretaries lived in constant terror. One missed paycheck meant the streets. They spent every single cent just on bread and a cold room. Finding a job was a miracle. Grace clawed her way to a single opening, an entry-level secretary at Abbott Laboratories, the very bottom of the ladder. A dead-end salary. She would sit at that exact desk for 43 years. No corporate climbing, no massive bonuses, but right there in that dull gray office, while her peers spent everything to survive, she made a choice that would rewrite history. 1935. Grace scrapes together her first tiny pool of cash, $180. In a starving America, that was real money, an entire month's pay. She walks into a brokerage firm and buys just 3 shares of the very company where she worked. $60 a share. Her coworkers laughed. The market was a minefield. Putting your life savings into paper slips? Pure insanity. But Grace tucks the certificates away, deep in her dresser, and walks away. For 75 years. World War II erupts. Markets bleed out. Mass panic. Then the stagflation of the 70s. Then Black Monday of '87. Wall Street hotshots are losing their minds, liquidating portfolios for pennies, jumping out of windows. And what does Grace do? She does nothing. Every 3 months, a tiny check arrives. Dividends. Pocket change. She doesn't buy a new coat. She doesn't buy a car. She signs the checks right back over to buy more shares, unlocking a hidden force that Wall Street fears most: compound interest. While the world is burning, her 3 shares in total darkness snowball into 100,000 shares. Let us look at the opposite side of the American dream. Meet Richard Fusconi. Richard was everything Grace was not. A Harvard graduate, a high-flying Wall Street executive, vice chairman of Merrill Lynch. Richard earned millions of dollars a year. He was a financial titan. He was praised in magazines as a genius of the modern market. Richard laughed at people like Grace. To him, saving money was for losers. He believed in leverage, debt, aggressive trading, high risk. He bought a massive 21,000 square foot mansion in Connecticut with 11 bathrooms, 2 swimming pools, and a guest house. He borrowed millions to fund his lavish lifestyle. He was unstoppable, a god of Wall Street. He thought he had mastered the system, but Richard forgot the #1 rule of the financial jungle. The market has no mercy for arrogance. 2008, the global financial meltdown. The housing market implodes. Lehman Brothers collapses. Richard Fusconi's massive debt suddenly turns into a death trap. The banks call in his loans. His investments turn to dust overnight. In 2008, Richard files for total bankruptcy. His 11-bathroom mansion is seized by the bank and sold at a foreclosure auction for a fraction of its value. The Harvard genius, the vice chairman of Merrill Lynch, is left completely ruined, with $0 to his name. But miles away, in her cramped living room, in a faded armchair, sits 99-year-old Grace. She watches the chaos on the news and smiles softly. Because in that exact same year, 2008, while the brilliant minds of Wall Street were begging the government for bailouts, the account of this quiet secretary was sitting at over $7 million. She didn't use leverage. She didn't take loans. She refused to touch a single cent. Why? Because she knew the darkest secret of Wall Street. There are no friends there, only predators. The only thing you can trust is time and execution. But the real twist came when her heart finally stopped beating. January 2010. Grace Groner breathes her last at age 100. No husband, no kids, no heirs. The local sheriff clears out her empty house. Inside, thrift store furniture, cheap plates, no hidden safes, no gold bars. Just one plain white envelope, marked for the attorney. When that will was finally unsealed, the shock sent shockwaves through the entire town. Grace didn't leave her millions to the state. She didn't bury it in the backyard. Every single day of her life, she remembered where she came from. A broke, helpless orphan, stranded in the Great Depression. Every single dollar of that $7 million fortune was wired directly to her old college. She set up a permanent scholarship fund, which now, year after year, covers the tuition for hundreds of low-income kids and chapters of orphans, giving them a fighting chance at life. She proved to the world a profound truth. True wealth is not about the car you drive, the Rolex on your wrist, or the villa in Miami. True wealth is how many destinies you can change with your patience.
Look at the math. If back in 1935, you put $180 into the S&P 500 index, today it would be worth about $1 million. But Grace Groner picked one horse and rode it for 75 years. Her return, a mind-blowing 4,000,000% in pure profit. A low-paid secretary absolutely crushed the vice chairman of Merrill Lynch, and every hedge fund manager on Earth. The big banks will never tell you her story, because they profit when you panic. They get rich when you lose. But now, you know how to beat the system. Hit that subscribe button, because ahead are even bigger exposures and fatal mistakes.